The 7 foundation stones to build your mental empire. Let me ask you something that will change everything you think you know about building wealth and power. What if I told you that every empire from Rome to the British Empire, from Carnegie's Steel Dynasty to Gates' Technology Kingdom, was built not with bricks and mortar, but with something far more powerful? What if I told you that the greatest emperors in history weren't crowned in palaces, but in the quiet chambers of their own minds? Tonight, you're going to discover the 7 foundation stones that separate the mental slaves from the mental emperors. And by the time we're done, you'll never again accept the limitations that others have placed upon your destiny. But first, let me take you to a moment that changed the trajectory of human achievement forever. The Emperor's Revelation. Julius Caesar stood at the banks of the Rubicon River with his army behind him. He knew that crossing this river meant war with Rome itself. His generals whispered of impossibility, his advisors spoke of certain defeat. But in that moment, Caesar made a decision that would echo through eternity. He didn't cross the Rubicon with his feet, he crossed it with his mind. Alea iacta est, he declared. The die is cast. What happened in that moment wasn't just a military decision, it was the birth of an emperor mindset. Caesar understood something that most people never grasp. The external world is simply a reflection of the internal kingdom you've built in your mind. And now, 2,000 years later, Napoleon Hill discovered that this same imperial principle operates in every successful person who has ever lived. Hill interviewed over 500 millionaires and found that each one had constructed their wealth upon the same 7 foundation stones that Caesar used to build his empire. Are you ready to claim your throne? Foundation Stone 1, the Emperor's Definite Purpose. Caesar didn't stumble into greatness. From the moment he entered politics, he had one burning obsession: to become the greatest leader Rome had ever known. This wasn't a wish, this wasn't a hope. This was a definite purpose that consumed every fiber of his being. Napoleon Hill discovered that every wealthy person he studied possessed this same quality: a burning obsession with a definite purpose. Not a vague goal like "I want to be rich," but a crystal clear vision that commanded their every decision. Andrew Carnegie knew exactly what he wanted: to create the largest steel empire in the world and then give it all away. Thomas Edison's definite purpose was to bring electric light to every home in America. Henry Ford was obsessed with putting every American family in an automobile. Notice the pattern? These weren't just business goals. These were imperial visions that would reshape the world itself. Here's what most people don't understand about definite purpose. It's not about what you want to achieve, it's about who you must become to achieve it. When Caesar declared his intention to rule Rome, he had to become a different man than the one who stood on the banks of that river. Your definite purpose is your declaration of war against the person you used to be. It's your commitment to building an internal empire so powerful that the external world has no choice but to yield to your command. But here's the secret that separates emperors from wannabes. Your definite purpose must be bigger than your current capacity to achieve it. If you can already see how to accomplish it, it's not big enough. Caesar couldn't see how he would conquer Gaul, defeat Pompey, and transform the Roman Republic into an empire, but he committed anyway. Walt Disney couldn't see how a young man with a mouse cartoon would build a global entertainment empire, but he committed anyway. The emperor mindset requires this: you must be willing to commit to a vision that your current self cannot accomplish, because only then will you be forced to evolve into the person who can. Foundation Stone 2, the Emperor's Unwavering Faith. Faith is not religious belief. Faith is the absolute certainty that your definite purpose is already accomplished in the realm of possibility, and it's just a matter of time before it manifests in physical reality. Let me tell you about a man who embodied this principle like no other: Henry Ford. When Ford announced his intention to create a mass-produced automobile, every expert in America told him it was impossible. The technology didn't exist, the infrastructure wasn't there, the market couldn't support it. Ford's response: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Ford didn't have faith that he might succeed. He had absolute certainty that he would succeed. This certainty was so unshakable that it infected everyone around him. Investors saw his faith and opened their wallet. Engineers saw his faith and solved impossible problems. Workers saw his faith and achieved what they never thought possible. This is the emperor's secret weapon. Unwavering faith creates a reality distortion field that bends circumstances to match your vision. But here's what most people miss about faith. It's not passive belief, it's active knowing. Faith without action is just wishful thinking. Faith with action is the force that moves mountains. Napoleon Hill studied this principle for 20 years and discovered something remarkable. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you combine definite purpose with unwavering faith, your subconscious goes to work 24/7 to make your vision reality. Your subconscious doesn't ask permission, it doesn't debate possibilities, it simply accepts whatever you feed it with emotional intensity and works to make it happen. The emperor mindset requires absolute faith in your capacity to achieve your definite purpose, even when, especially when you have no idea how you're going to do it. Foundation Stone 3, the Emperor's Auto-Suggestion. Every emperor in history understood this truth. You become what you think about most often. Your dominant thoughts shape your reality with mathematical precision. Caesar didn't just think about conquering Gaul occasionally. He thought about it obsessively. Every strategy session, every battle plan, every moment of meditation was focused on this single outcome. But here's where most people fail. They think thinking is enough. It's not. The emperor mindset requires auto-suggestion, the deliberate, repetitive programming of your subconscious mind with the exact thoughts and emotions that align with your definite purpose. Andrew Carnegie used to spend 30 minutes every morning and every evening repeating his definite purpose out loud, with passion and conviction. By the end of this year, I will have organized the largest steel company in the world, and I will have accumulated $10 million. He didn't just say these words, he felt them. He experienced the emotions of achievement before the achievement existed. This is the key that most people miss. Your subconscious responds to emotion, not logic. You can repeat affirmations all day long, but if they don't generate powerful emotions, they're just noise. The emperor mindset requires that you experience the emotions of success before you achieve success. You must feel like an emperor before you can think like an emperor. You must think like an emperor before you can act like an emperor. You must act like an emperor before you can become an emperor. This isn't positive thinking. This is mental engineering. Every morning, the true emperor wakes up and deliberately chooses the thoughts that will dominate his mind. Every evening, he reviews his mental diet and eliminates any thoughts that don't serve his empire. Most people are victims of random thinking. They accept whatever thoughts happen to drift into their consciousness. The emperor is the master of deliberate thinking. He chooses his thoughts with the same precision that an architect chooses his building materials. Foundation Stone 4, the emperor's specialized knowledge. No empire was ever built on general knowledge. Caesar wasn't a generalist. He was a specialist in the art of military strategy, political manipulation, and leadership psychology. Here's what Napoleon Hill discovered. Wealthy people don't know everything, but they know everything about something valuable. Henry Ford didn't know how to design engines, manufacture steel, or manage finances, but he surrounded himself with people who did. And he knew how to organize their specialized knowledge to serve his definite purpose. This is the emperor's secret. You don't need to be the smartest person in every room. You need to be the person who knows how to organize the smartest people in every room. But first, you must develop your own area of specialized knowledge. You must become known for something valuable. You must be able to solve a problem that other people can't solve, or solve it better than anyone else can. The emperor mindset requires that you become obsessively excellent at something the world values. Not good, not great, excellent. The kind of excellent that makes people seek you out and pay you handsomely for your expertise. John D. Rockefeller didn't know everything about oil, but he knew more about the business of oil than anyone alive. He understood supply chains, pricing mechanisms, and competitive strategy with such precision that he could predict market movements months in advance. Bill Gates didn't know everything about technology, but he understood the business potential of personal computers better than anyone else. He saw the future while others were still living in the past. The path to specialized knowledge is simple but not easy. Choose one area that aligns with your definite purpose, and then study it with obsessive intensity until you know more about it than 99% of the people on Earth. Read study everything, practice everything, fail at everything, learn from everything, and do it again and again until your specialized knowledge becomes your competitive moat. Foundation Stone 5, the emperor's organized planning. Dreams without plans are just wish. Plans without organization are just chaos. Organization without action is just procrastination. The emperor mindset requires all three: dreams, plans, and organized action. Caesar didn't conquer Gaul by accident. Every battle was planned, every strategy was calculated, every movement was organized to serve his definite purpose. But here's the secret that separates successful planning from failed planning: flexibility within structure. Most people create rigid plans and then wonder why they fail when reality doesn't cooperate. The emperor creates structured plans that can adapt to changing circumstances while maintaining focus on the definite purpose. Napoleon Hill discovered that every successful person he studied had developed what he called definite plans for the attainment of their definite purpose. But these weren't static documents. They were living, breathing strategies that evolved with new information and changing conditions. Walt Disney's plan to build Disneyland changed dozens of times during development, but his definite purpose to create the happiest place on earth never wavered. Every change in his plan served that purpose more effectively. The emperor mindset requires that you develop multiple plans for achieving your definite purpose. If plan A fails, you have plan B ready. If plan B fails, you have plan C ready. You keep planning until you find the plan that works. But here's the crucial point: you must act on your current best plan while you're developing your backup plans. Analysis paralysis is the enemy of empire building. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. Foundation Stone 6, the Emperor's Mastermind Alliance. No emperor ever built an empire alone. Caesar had Marcus Antonius, Lepidus, and a network of loyal generals. Carnegie had Henry Frick, Charles Schwab, and the most talented industrialists of his generation. The emperor mindset understands this fundamental truth: the sum of organized intelligence always exceeds the intelligence of any individual member. Napoleon Hill called this principle the Mastermind Alliance: the coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people who work in perfect harmony toward the attainment of a definite purpose. But this isn't just about having a team. This is about creating a synergy so powerful that it generates ideas and solutions that none of the individual members could have created alone. Henry Ford's Mastermind Alliance included Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, and John Burroughs. These four men met regularly to share ideas, challenge each other's thinking, and push each other to greater heights of achievement. The result: Ford revolutionized manufacturing. Edison lit up the world. Firestone became the tire king, and Burroughs inspired millions with his writing. Your Mastermind Alliance must include people who the alliance before you can expect to receive value from it. The emperor mindset gives first and receives second. Foundation Stone 7, the emperor's applied faith. This is where most people fail. They have definite purpose, they develop specialized knowledge, they create organized plans, they even build mastermind alliances. But they don't apply their faith with persistence. Applied faith is faith in action. It's the willingness to persist in the face of temporary defeat, knowing that every setback is nothing more than a setup for an even greater comeback. Colonel Sanders was rejected 1,009 times before his recipe was accepted. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before perfecting the light bulb. James Dyson created 5,126 prototypes before his revolutionary vacuum cleaner was perfected. What did all these men understand that most people don't? Temporary defeat is not permanent failure. The emperor mindset treats every no as a step closer to yes, every rejection as redirection toward a better opportunity, every setback as a setup for a stronger comeback. But here's the secret: applied faith requires you to define failure correctly. Most people think failure means not achieving their goal. The emperor knows that failure means quitting before you achieve your goal. You cannot fail as long as you keep moving toward your definite purpose. You can have temporary defeats. You can face unexpected challenge. You can encounter resistance and obstacles, but you cannot fail unless you quit. The imperial transformation. And now we come to the most important question. Are you ready to stop living like a mental slave and start thinking like a mental emperor? Because that's what these 7 foundation stones really represent. They're the blueprints for mental transformation, from limitation to possibility, from scarcity to abundance, from weakness to power. Most people are mental slaves without even knowing it. They've accepted limitations that don't belong to them. They've adopted beliefs that don't serve them. They've surrendered their power to circumstances, other people, and their own fears. The emperor mindset rejects all of this. The emperor knows that external circumstances are temporary. Internal character is permanent. The emperor knows that other people's opinions are irrelevant. Personal conviction is everything. The emperor knows that fear is not a stop sign. Fear is a signal that you're about to do something important. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon, he wasn't fearless, he was afraid. But he didn't let fear make his decisions for him. He felt the fear and crossed anyway. When Carnegie decided to give away his fortune, people called him crazy. He didn't let their opinions change his purpose. He felt the criticism and proceeded anyway. When Disney mortgaged everything to build Disneyland, the bankers predicted disaster. He didn't let their pessimism dim his vision. He felt the doubt and built anyway. This is the emperor's way. Feel whatever you need to feel, then do what you need to do. Your empire awaits. The 7 foundation stones are now before you. Definite purpose. Your imperial vision, unwavering faith, your certainty of achievement. Auto-suggestion, your mental programming desk. Specialized knowledge, your competitive advantage. Organized planning, your strategic roadmap. Mastermind, alliance. Your imperial counsel, applied faith, your persistence in action. You can continue living as you always have, accepting whatever circumstances life happens to offer you. Or you can decide, right here and right now, to begin building your mental empire. The choice is yours, but choose carefully, because this choice will determine everything that follows. If you choose the emperor's path, your life will never be the same. You'll face challenges that will test your resolve. You'll encounter people who will try to pull you back down to their level. You'll have moments of doubt when you question whether your vision is too big, too bold, too ambitious. But you'll also experience something that most people never taste: the absolute certainty that comes from knowing you're building something magnificent. The unshakable confidence that comes from aligning your daily actions with your deepest purpose. The profound satisfaction that comes from becoming everything you're capable of becoming. The external empire is just a reflection of the internal empire. Build the internal empire first, and the external empire will follow as certainly as spring follows winter. Your throne awaits. Your empire awaits. The only question remaining is this: are you ready to claim what's rightfully yours? The final call to arms. If this message has awakened something in you, if you feel that burning sensation in your chest that tells you it's time to stop playing small, if you're finally ready to step into the emperor you were born to be, then I need you to do something right now. Don't let this moment pass. Don't let this feeling fade. Don't let yourself slip back into the comfortable mediocrity that has defined your past. Take action immediately. Like this video if you're ready to build your mental empire. Subscribe to this channel if you want to join an army of empire builders who refuse to accept limitations. Comment below and tell us which of the 7 foundation stones resonates most powerfully with you. And most importantly, share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Because when you help another person build their empire, you strengthen your own. Remember, emperors create other emperors, slaves create other slaves. Which will you choose to be? The empire you build in your mind today becomes the reality you live in tomorrow. Build well, build boldly, build like the emperor you truly are. Your mental empire starts now.